Let's start this video off strong with a question. Would you like to live longer, essentially? Would you like to compress time, get more done in a specific amount of time? And when you go to bed at night, you feel encouraged, you feel excited about the next day, and you don't feel discouraged like you were just chasing your tail the whole time like a dog. You weren't spinning your wheels all day long. I think that a lot of people want to feel that way. And I know that not that long ago, I felt like I was wasting so much time and I just didn't know what to do. There was even a period in my life where I didn't even realize I was wasting time. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. Wasting time. Because really the key to gaining your time back is to quit wasting it. And that might be kind of an obvious statement, like of course. But have you ever really thought about it? Have you ever really thought about what you're pouring your precious time into that really doesn't need it? I remember when I was probably around 14 years old. I had a phone. It was just a little older iPhone. And I had gotten it fairly recently. No, I didn't have a phone for a very long time, but when I got it, I found this game that I really loved to play. And it was one of those little build your own world games where you can this little mobile game where you could build a house, you could save up, get tokens, put houses and characters and things in your world and decorate. And I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I don't really know why, but it was cool, I guess, to set up my own little world. And I went so long, probably a year or so, just playing that game and saving up my coins and things for different events. The video game would have different events, so if I checked back in every 30 minutes or every hour or whatever, and I did that for a week, I would get some special character, something like that. But the interesting thing is, after maybe a year or so playing it, I had this realization kind of dawn on me one day. I don't remember what brought it on, I really don't. But I realized if my phone died today, let's say it got crushed or whatever, what would I have to show for all that time that I had spent on that game? All those timers that I set to make sure I checked in on the game at the right time, all those tokens that I had saved up. What would I have to show for all the time I poured into that game? And I realized the answer would be nothing. I had nothing to show for all of those hours that I spent on that game if that game just disappeared. Just kind of disappeared into the digital realm, right? Just gone forever. And so after I asked myself that question, I began to get a little more serious about where I spent my time. And it didn't just have to do with my phone or my device. It kind of leaked over into my day-to-day, everything that I did. I started asking myself this question: I am pouring my precious time into this thing right now. Is that going to yield a good return for me? Is it a good investment? What would be an example of a good investment of your time? Spending time with your family, right? It's a good investment of your time because you're strengthening relationships, and those are the relationships that often you have for the rest of your life, so why not make them the strongest, right? Another example of that could be cleaning your house. Now, you don't want to spend hours and hours cleaning your house, but it's still a good investment because it's your house, it's where you live. And what I found is that when your house is clean and it's organized and you keep it that way, you are able to, first of all, save time by not losing things so often. If everything has a place, then you can find it easily. And then also, I just work better. Like when I'm in my room and I'm working on my computer, if it was full of trash and a bunch of stuff just thrown around, I wouldn't be able to concentrate as well because I would see it all out of the corner of my eye. So keeping my spaces clean is a good investment of my time. What are some things I would consider a bad investment of my time? Well, video games, first of all. Because apart from gaining a new digital character or unlocking some new level or something, ultimately, it is all digital. And it doesn't strengthen relationships, it doesn't typically benefit me monetarily. And when set aside, it's not gaining interest, it's not doing anything for me, really. It's entertaining. It's certainly entertaining. So in the moment, you feel a bit of a gratification, I suppose, but long term, not a good investment. So there's some examples. And a lot of times this is common knowledge, but sometimes it's just something we don't think about, right? Your time is precious. You only have so many hours in the day. I once heard someone say, I don't remember the exact numbers, so bear with me, but let's say, for example, you have 27 million seconds in your day, right? I don't know if you have less or more than that. Just, you can Google it if you want. But let's say, for the sake of this video, because I can't go search it right now, you have 27 million seconds in your day. Well, let's just say, apart from that, let's say you have a bank account, right? And miraculously, every day, $27 million show up in that bank account. What would you do with it? Obviously, you're probably thinking about all the awesome and cool things you would buy. Maybe you'd buy a car, maybe you'd buy a house, maybe you'd buy this and that. So every day, 27 million will show up in your account. But here's the catch. Every day, whatever's left and has not been spent disappears forever. And then the next day you start fresh with $27 million. Well, you would absolutely use that money to the fullest. You would make sure that you spent all of it and that you didn't waste any of it. If you didn't need it for yourself anymore and you spent all of it on yourself, well, eventually you'd probably get enough things. So you would start probably giving it to some people if possible, or buying gifts for people. I don't know what you'd do with it all, but I do know that you would spend it and that you wouldn't want to waste it on things that were not important, right? Well, if you have, let's say, the 27 million seconds in a day, or whatever, that is just as valuable, truly, as if it were money in this bank account. You only have so many seconds, so many minutes, so many hours in your day. So my question to you is, how are you going to spend it? How are you going to spend it? Now, I talked about video games earlier, and I know that sometimes people enjoy playing those every now and then, and you probably enjoy some other things. I'm not saying never take time to do something for yourself or even with others that you enjoy that's not obviously productive. Let's say you could say, oh, I'm gonna quit wasting my time and I'm gonna work 24 hours a day on my work. Well, you would be burned out. So you need to have some downtime. And you need to have some things that you enjoy, and that's completely fine. But so many people spend way too much time on things outside of their, me time. Or time with other people, right? Growing relationships. A lot of people just waste a boatload of time. I recently heard that the average American, I believe it was, spends like 6 hours a day watching television. 6 hours a day. The average American. That is crazy to me. Crazy. It's crazy. There's nothing wrong with like a family night. A family movie night. I actually watch a movie every Friday night with my siblings. We enjoy it. We have a good time. And that's probably about an hour and a half, 2 hour long movie once a week on Friday night. And so I do enjoy that. Could that technically be a waste of time? Perhaps. But you aren't supposed to be working your entire life, so we're not taking it to the extreme here. But I'm just saying, I do occasionally watch a show or a movie. And so I'm not condemning it completely, but 6 hours a day is crazy. So what could you do? How can you take this precious time that God has given you? You only have so many hours and so many seconds and so many minutes in your day. So how are you going to spend them? wisely? How could you spend them wisely? Recently, within the last few years, I've really gotten into the whole time blocking. And so it's a schedule. It's like kind of like a calendar, but it's actually for each day. Each day I get a fresh page, and it gives me all the hour slots, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way to about 6 or 7 p.m. And so on each of those lines, I'll write what I will do within that hour slot, and it really helps me break down and be more intentional with my time and where I put my time. And not all of that is dedicated to just work. You should have a set slot of hours for your work, for your family time, for the things that matter the most to you, and that's where you put your time. Put your time into things that will yield a good return. And that has really helped me be mindful. So if you don't have something like that, perhaps try it. That could be a really good thing to try. I find that a lot of people, when they will just get a typical calendar, you just have one little square and that's your day, right? And you write a couple of things, but you never write the hours beside it. So a lot of times what happens with that is that the person is never intentional. They just figure, okay, I got to do this at some point today, so I could spend a couple hours doing this, and maybe an hour on this, and a couple hours on this, and then I'll just do this thing whenever. When you time block, research time blocking. If you have never done it, I do believe that you would find that very beneficial. So really, my friend, today, my question is, what are your time wasters? What are you wasting time on that you could redeem, that you could buy back your time? How can you buy back your time, getting back your time? The time you have spent in the past is gone. But every day that you wake up, you have a fresh amount of time. You have 24 hours in a day. You have 14, 15, 16 waking hours, depending on how much. If you're getting 8 or 9, if you're getting 8 or 9 hours of sleep at night, you have some of the time you're sleeping, right? But you have a certain amount of hours that you are awake. So when you're awake, what are you doing with those hours? I think that you'll find as you become more intentional, as you begin to cut out those time wasters, you'll actually begin to feel more free, because you're freeing yourself up to not only do the things that truly bring you gratification, that bring you true joy. You won't be swamped. You won't be quite so swamped with so much stuff. Your schedule won't be quite so full, because you will be freeing yourself up. And really quickly, I do want to say that sometimes events and certain things may look like they truly are important. So I don't just want you to think, oh, well, just don't play video games as much or don't watch as much YouTube. Also, look at your schedule. Is there something you are doing on a regular basis that just doesn't need to be done? Is there something that you could either delegate and give to someone else to do, or just stop doing altogether? Because sometimes things like that are a little tricky. They're a little deceptive, and they're sitting on our schedule, and it kind of gives us a sense of accomplishment, right? We get it done. It's something that's pretty easy that we can do, and so it just gives us another little box to check off. But is that thing really necessary? Is it really important? If not, also might need to cut that out. So just think today and let me know in the comments. Put them in the comments. What 2 time wasters, just pick 2 or 1. Just 1 is okay, or 1 or 2. And put it down in the comments. What 1 or 2 things have been recently wasting your time? Well, 1 or 2 things do you feel have been wasting your time that you are choosing today to cut out? As you do that, you will be able to fast track yourself, because you're no longer being weighed down by distractions. I am so proud of you for being here today. Truly, you took the time, you've watched this video, and now your mind is going. You're thinking of those things. What things will you cut out? And in turn, you are redeeming your time. You are gaining back time, and that is so fantastic. I cannot wait to see where just that one action will take you in life. Always remember that. Always remember to be intentional with your time. And you will be able to do more, go further, and faster than you ever have in life. And that is a beautiful thing.